This is the Horizon Rock Trail, and it's right along this popular little stretch of Taylor's Falls, and this is right by the river. Now, I'm going to be meeting with Jörg Glissman here in a few minutes to do another reading of a new book that we have decided to read, which I will not disclose at the moment, and I'll leave this surprise for later. But for now, I'm just trying to shoot this little fun video of the trail here while I'm hiking. But yeah, Jörg Glissman and I finished reading the book Code Word Babylon a number of months ago. I believe it was in August or July we finished that. And we started this reading of the paper that Ernest L. Martin wrote on why Peter was not the first pope and why apostolic succession in the Roman Catholic Church is not the truth. It's a lie. And this is how Romanism works. It works on lies, works on big lies. Lies so big that it's hard to break them apart because of all of the history. The history is so profound, but not the history that we learn in school, of course. That's just the garbage that is polluted this entire mindset that we live in today. It's the history that everyone would like to forget, because when you encounter this history, when you uncover this history, when you talk about this history and expose this history for what it really represents, for one, it makes more sense than anything you've ever heard your entire life, and there's many, many new discoveries in many, many areas. And for two, it will make everyone so upset with you because all of a sudden you have to admit, you the listener, me the listener, we all have to admit of the wrongdoings and the manipulations that have occurred throughout all this time. And it's not so nice. It's not so friendly. It's pretty nasty. And yeah, people get tied up with it, and it's maybe one of the big blessings about moving out of the city is no longer having to deal with the rigors of modern life as much. You become more familiar with how things were in the old days, and you slow down a bit and you have more time to consider the details that have been lost in this polluted history that we are spoon-fed by our media and by our governments. Oh wow, look at this. This changed. There were some trees here that I think are down. They're gone. Wow. There was a big tree right here that came down, and now it's bared open. Yeah, right there. There it is. There's the tree. I think. Well, or am I just... I'm so familiar with coming here. Maybe it's just that these trees are dying and the branches aren't as thick. I'm just used to a thicker tree up here, right here at the peak of this. But there's the river behind me. I'm sorry, I probably didn't point that out, did I? You see how We've got the river here, the St. Croix River. Now, this way where I'm pointing is west, and this way is north, and the tree is in the way. But if I come down here, you can see how the river winds around here. You have the river down here, winding from the north to the west. And yeah, so, oh yeah, interesting, huh? Look at this rotted away tree. But anyway, yeah, it's just a number of minutes and I'll be meeting with Jörg Glissman to do another reading. And today was kind of an oddball day, and I had a chance to contact Jörg on a Monday here to do another reading. And we've been getting together for months there to read Code Word Babylon, and we decided to take a break. There's a lot of photograph and layout work that I'm doing for Jörg in the pictures for thumbnails and things like that for the Secret History of the Jesuits. And of course, I'm also making comments on my channel of those videos as I go through them once a week or something. But I was going to try and get those done for him soon, and I have been so busy with work and other things that have gotten in my way. Computers, updating computers, man. So yeah, just been working on that for the past days here, helping my mom out with her computer too. Just one of those things, you know, that you got to do from time to time. I know no one likes to do it, but when you become more familiar with audio production, video production, these kinds of things are regular annual tasks that you have to do. At least for myself, I have to go through my whole computer and get rid of a lot of junk and reorganize it, throw out what needs to be thrown out, save what needs to be saved, and title everything that needs to be titled. Because oftentimes I do these image searches and I won't title things, I'll just stuff them off to the side in a corner of the screen, and everything takes time and all of it adds up very quickly, and before you know it, things just go right by. The years just go right by like nothing ever happened, and it can be a little frustrating, but here we are. All right, okay, nice place, huh? It's another peak, a little bit higher, and above that little jaunt in the river where it winds from north to west. And this is the rocks below me. You can't see the river from here too well. You can see it through here just a touch, a little bit above my finger there, right there, and that's about it. But here we have Taylor's Falls down there, and this is a nice spot. And at this time of day, on a Monday, there's not many people around. It's a beautiful day today. We haven't had sun in a long time, so this feels great. But yeah, I was gonna talk about a few things, but I've run out of time, and just thought I'd put this video out just for the fun of it, kind of give you an idea what it's like here in Wisconsin, right next to Minnesota where I live. And I love coming here. Wonderful day. Hope you're doing well, no matter who you are, what you're doing, where you're going. Thanks for tuning in to my channel, and I look forward to seeing your comments one day or another, and let me know what you think. Catch up with you soon. Bye-bye. Hello everybody, this is Brett again. This time I've got the Sony camera on me doing a video here of one of my favorite places to come to, and I was just gonna take this back on the way back, do a video. But yeah, it's really interesting when you start studying Romanism from the standpoint of a born-again Bible believer. Now, most believers, whether you be Catholic or Protestant, will have some kind of attachment to the Bible. Now, Roman Catholics have a much different attachment than I know of. Traditional Roman Catholics have a much different view of the Bible than a traditional Protestant. Now, historically, Protestantism represents the contrast of Catholicism. Yet today, it's so mixed up and incredibly polluted that people oftentimes will, confuse the two and mix the two together. Calling Trump a Protestant and calling, the Pope a Christian. And how confused is that? And then you had this little spat that Donald Trump had during the election of, where he used that whole campaign thing about, we got to build a wall for this country, the wall to Mexico, things like that. And then you have the Pope firing back at him, and these types of things. These types of things are just there to incite some type of excitement in the people. It's kind of like an ideology or something. You have these things that the ruling or the campaign managers, like Steve Bannon. He's really some crazy cat, and he utilized this whole idea of latching on to the Tridentine Catholics and the whole thing about I got a video clip of him on a speech he did, a public speech he did before the campaign. And this whole campaign that we went through, this political campaign that we went through in 2016, really represents what has become of Christianity in the United States of America and around the world. It's so mixed up, it's so incredibly homogenized that people don't see it for what it is, because they've given up on this entire belief system called Protestantism that in its pure form represents the gospel of Christ, in the sense that Christ came not of this world. And there are many King James Bible quotes we can use to explain it and define it and to make it come into focus. But of course, the vast majority of Christianity today has given up on the King James Bible, let alone the whole historical aspect. And Protestantism is been wiped out and forgotten for the most part, and dare I say, it's so rare. I mean, you have to find these old Protestant books, and you have to start studying them and reading them in order to really understand how far this has come and how deep it goes, because it goes very deep and very far, and you're not going to get much support from friends and family unless they agree with you. And oftentimes I've found that they really don't agree. They don't want to agree because they haven't done the research for themselves. So Yerk and I are always saying, hats off to you, brethren, that have taken upon yourself to do some research on these topics and discover what there is to discover, because there's a great deal of truth that has been hidden, it has been lost, it has been forgotten, and it has been ignored, mainly for the argument and the support of this Vatican Council II ecumenical movement that surrounds the whole world. And we're still incurring or going through this, and will continue to go through it until Christ returns. And I know that many people do not believe in Christ because of the representation that the Roman Catholic Church, or rather the Catholic Church in America as well, has represented to the entire world through politics and through all these things, because the papacy is a political institution. It is first and foremost a political institution that uses Christianity as a veil to hide Satan himself. The synagogue of Satan. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the hierarchy. We're talking about the black Jesuits, the ones that you rarely see or hear about unless you've researched it yourself. Then it becomes a little bit more obvious. But to those of you Catholics out there that have lived with traditions and with all of these different political events, maybe have never really looked at the Protestant side for truth. And earlier I was listening to Tom Fress of Inquisition Update and his broadcasts on Romanism, the history of Romanism. And that's a really fantastic reading he's doing right now, and I really recommend everyone on my channel go over there and listen to some of his videos from time to time. I think it was Romanism 92 and 93. I really like those readings he did on Thursday and Friday of last week. They really hit home with me. And when things tend to make sense, then you listen. And a lot of the things that we've been taught really don't make much sense when you start to look at the whole history of the papacy and the behind the political scenes that have been done in the name of Christ. But anyway, I think this is going to have to be a shorter video here. I got to cut this short and start running. Otherwise, I'm going to be late to visit Yerk in Belgium for a reading today on the 14th of October. So thanks for tuning into my channel. Thanks for being a subscriber and commenting. And thanks for your support and for your research and sharing research I'm always open to learn new things when I have the time. And I apologize to those of you that I have not taken the time to answer your comments and to engage in your discussions. But I do really appreciate your attention and support of all the works we're doing here on my channel, on Yerk's channel, on Tom's readings. And I'll be looking forward to catching up with all of you soon. Bye-bye.